Ik wil weten wie mij dit kunstje geflikt heeft en wie daar geweest zijn.
Emergency services worked quickly to get the injured to hospitals in Enschede and nearby towns. But a firestorm raged through the whole neighborhood, spewing out a plume of smoke visible 30 kilometers away. Firemen couldn't get close to douse the flames. The town of Enschede was in shock. Hundreds had been injured and 22 people were dead. Thermal imaging cameras vividly showed the huge fires burning in the aftermath. Enschede was scarred. 400 houses torn to pieces. Many factories and shops laid to waste. 2,000 people suddenly homeless. As the flames died down, anger and disbelief erupted. What caused the double explosion? Could it have been sabotage? Arson? What was inside the compound that blew up with such extraordinary force? To Detective Hans Kamperman, Enschede looked like a combat zone.
Het deed meedenken aan Kosovo, waar ik geweest ben kort na de bevrijding daar. De reuk van de brandende huizen, de grote vernieling, de hitte die er toen nog was van ook de zon, maar ook van de stenen die nog de warmte uitstraalden. Dat was ontzettend intensief.
As bad as it was, the disaster could have been much worse. There were 66 seconds between the two explosions. That gave hundreds of people just enough time to run for cover. And the fire at the brewery was smothered before it spewed masses of highly toxic ammonia into the air. It was days before the blast site cooled down enough for rescuers to conduct a search. No survivors were found. As memorial services for the victims were held, investigators faced colossal pressure to explain what had happened.
De enorme informatiestroom om die goed te kanaliseren. De enorme hoeveelheid video en foto's om dat op een juiste manier vast te leggen.
It would become one of the largest investigations in Dutch history.
We hebben het onderzoek verdeeld in een...
We divided it into a tactical investigation, technical and a financial economic, and a leadership investigation.
Bestuurlijk onderzoek.
In the beginning we had 100 investigators.
Aan het werk.
The aerial photographs, taken coincidentally just hours before the disaster, enabled investigators to assemble a detailed plan of the neighborhood. To document the evidence, specialist photographers took a series of 360-degree panoramic images of the disaster area. Transferred to a computer, the digital images could be manipulated to show all aspects of the site. The enormous scale of the destruction raised the question, could fireworks alone have done this? Public interest was fueled by hundreds of newspaper photos and videos broadcast on TV. In the absence of hard facts, conspiracy theories arose. The compound was a secret arms depot. The disaster was the work of terrorists.
Met al deze spookverhalen die de ronde deden over de vuurwerkramp, werd het voor de slachtoffers ontzettend belangrijk dat er iemand komt die op korte termijn antwoorden geeft.
Consultants Dave Boers and Bas van de Heuvel were hired by the families of the victims to conduct a private investigation. One of their specialities, video analysis.
Er is dus iemand geweest die in de beelden van Gerrit Poort meent te zien hoe een raket opstijgt op het terrein van SA Fireworks. En Ik moet toegeven, toen ik ze voor de eerste keer zag, dacht ik ook, dat ziet er echt uit als een raket.
But a frame-by-frame computer enhancement of the puzzling video offered results that weren't so mysterious. Using the size of buildings as a reference, they estimated that the rocket would have had to be 12 meters tall, lifting off at more than the speed of sound. Impossible.
En als het een 12 meter lange raket is, is hij veel te zwaar om zo snel te versnellen. Dus dan kom je bij de conclusie, het was geen raket.
In fact, it was an exploding piece of debris, trailing dust and smoke in its wake. Other forensic experts took rock, dirt and cement samples from the bottom of the blast crater for testing. They were looking for traces of a bomb, high explosives more powerful than fireworks. One expert was Jaap Vierheim, an explosive specialist at the Netherlands Institute of Applied Scientific Research.
The central building was manufactured of reinforced concrete, and when it failed, so there were big chunks of concrete just thrown over hundreds of meters, many pieces up to 600-700 meters even.
Samples were sent to the Netherlands Forensic Institute, where they were tested for high explosives using chromatography, a technique that can detect small quantities of foreign particles in soil samples. The tests were negative. With no high explosives found, investigators had to determine if fireworks alone could have caused the explosion.